What's going on, everybody? Welcome in another stream. Trying to do this more often, especially on Tuesdays. Tuesdays, I got some time right before I do my other two streams where we do RoundTable at 6 o'clock, and then we do the Young Guns at 8:35 over at the Hubs channel. Excited about today. There's a lot to talk about. It's hot in my house right now, so bear with me if I try to fan out my body real quick. I have the heat on in my house, and I just turned it down because I did think it went a little too overboard. But guys, tell me how your boy woke up in Florida. All right, I live in Florida. Why was it 43 degrees in Florida overnight? I know we're supposed to get a little bit of a cold wave. Is that how you call it? A cold wave? I heard a heat wave, but a cold front. There we go, cold front. Tell me how we got a cold front in Florida, like out of nowhere. Well, people expected it to come, but the drastic change in weather is insane. This is the first time all year, besides maybe in January, that I turn my heat on in my house. I usually have it nice and cold in my house, but guys, when I woke up, it was 63 degrees in my house. 63 degrees in the house. That's a little too much for me. I'm good with a cool, like, really, if I really want it cold in the house, like 70 degrees. I can't do 63 degrees in the house. That's too much. What's going on, everybody? Let me show the comments on the stage here. What's going on? All-Star Jared Toast in the building. Hot Dog in the building as well. What's going on, everybody, man? We got a lot to talk about. This is the first time I've been live since the firing of Brian Daboll. Ah, my goodness. Let me see if I can download that thing real quick. If you guys didn't know, was it available for download? Was I able to download my own video? I don't know. If you guys didn't know, I made an edit video for Brian Daboll way back in 2022 when he won Coach of the Year, and it was so nasty. It was so good, but now it's like all for nothing now, man. It's like all for nothing now. Brian Daboll appreciation. Let me see here real quick. No, I'm trying to hold on. Search. How do I search in profile? I want to search. Oh, there we go. Brian Daboll appreciation. I'll get to the chat in a second. Let me see if I can download this. I can show you guys. I can't. Do I have my stuff unavailable for download or something? Damn, that's crazy. Oh, I could just share my screen. I'm a dumbass. Hold on. I don't know if you guys remember this. This is look how far we came, guys. We really thought we had it sweet, bro. Oh no, but that's gonna get my freaking stream. I can't do it, guys. I can't do it. I can't, because it has copyrighted music in it, so it's gonna get my stream copyrighted. Let me put is the music too loud, guys? Background music. It's a little too loud in my ear right now. Put it down a little bit. What's going on, everybody? Hey, Brian Daboll's fired. What can we expect? And where do we go from here, man? Where do we go? Now, do I have an answer? Did you guys come here looking for an answer? I hope you guys didn't come here looking for an answer, because I'm just a YouTuber, bro. I don't know. I'm here to talk it over with you guys and discuss what the Giants should do next. Now, there are a lot of coaching candidates. I would love to hear you guys' coaching candidates that you guys have in mind. And listen, there's no wrong answer. You could disagree. You could even disagree with mine. There is no wrong answers. Who you want as the Giants coach? This is all we're all fans, you know. So, real quick, guys, what do you guys think? Who do you guys want as the next coach? Because it's inevitable. We got to hire another coach. I'm hearing Lane Kiffin. I've seen a lot of Lane Kiffin. I'm hearing Mike McCarthy thrown around right now. It's crazy because Mike McCarthy will, like... when he got fired from Green Bay, did he take a year off too? Did Mike McCarthy take a year off when he got fired by Green Bay? So is he doing that like all the time now? Like each time he gets fired, you're just gonna take a year off? Is that a thing? Can't remember. Ew, no. Now, listen, I don't really care about Mike McCarthy. I think he's a really smart football guy, but I'm not looking for a football guy. I'm actually gonna show you guys on Twitter what I put on Twitter, what I'm looking for in a new head coach. Okay. Let's see here. Let me show you guys what I'm looking for in a head coach. Then we'll get to the sponsors of the stream. All right. Oh no, this is not it. This is not it. That's the wrong one. That's the thing. Oh yeah, but hey, you know what? I should show that to you guys too. Hold on. I'm trying to pull out the right one. All right, here is what I want. All right, here's what I want, guys. I'll show you guys that stat in a second that I looked for. I see Brady, Kubiak, and Mike LaFleur. Where is Mike LaFleur right now? Where is Mike LaFleur right now? He was around the league. I don't know where he's at right now. We got Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills. Don't know if the Giants want to do that again. Don't know if the Giants will do that again. We got Clint Kubiak, who I really like, and Mike LaFleur. Where is Mike LaFleur right now? I like Lane Kiffin, Mike Tomlin, and John Gruden. Here's the thing. I love Mike Tomlin. Let's see if he does get fired. He's with the Rams. Okay. Aubrey Pleasant, the assistant head coach of the Rams, is a big candidate as well that a lot of people are talking about. Here's the reason why I don't care about Lane Kiffin as much. One, college head coaches, it never works out. Even the greatest college head coach of all time, Nick Saban, couldn't work out in the NFL. It's just a different beast. You know, Matt Rule was very successful in college. He went to the NFL to coach the Carolina Panthers. That went awry. He went back into college, and he's doing fine. Some coaches need to stay in the NFL. Some coaches need to stay in college. Lane Kiffin, I don't know if his offense works in college. It works in the NFL. Now, that's not to say that he won't change up his offense to make it work in the NFL, but I just don't know if he tried a coaching job in the NFL and it didn't work out. So I'm not sure about Lane Kiffin. Although it would be nice for Jackson Dart's development, I'm not sure how much it would really be for the entire team. And John Gruden, I think he's the most overrated coach of all time. But like I said, there's no wrong answers, guys. There's really no wrong answer. So whatever you guys want, I mean, it is what it is. I'm going to boycott this team. I even said it, guys. What did I say? I said all the fans need to stop going to the games if they scapegoat Brian Daboll and they move forward with Joe Shane. I knew that was going to happen. I knew it. If they fired him in season, that was exactly what's going to happen. And we heard that was the case. We already heard that's the case now. That Joe Shane will be looking for the next head coach. But first of all, let's go over my wish list here. Okay, I said this. Although I prefer an offensive-minded head coach, I don't have anything against bringing in a defensive-minded one for the Giants. But qualities I'm looking for is, 1, someone dedicated to developing a quarterback and actively caters to anything he might need to be successful, putting the right offensive minds in place for that to happen. So you guys know, a lot of you guys are like this as well, where I don't want a defensive head coach. I prefer, I don't want to say I don't want, I prefer not to have a defensive-minded head coach. If that is the case, I just hope, like a Sean McDermott, right? Like a Mike Tomlin, like a lot of these defensive coaches, they put the pieces in place offensively where their quarterback will succeed, right? Although the best teams really do have an offensive-minded head coach, that is a thing. You know, I wouldn't mind having a defensive one if we can get the right offensive guys in place. It just really gets rid of a lot of problems when you have an offensive-minded head coach and they could be almost directly involved in the development of the quarterback. But when you get a defensive-minded head coach, then you got to go hire your guys out there to go, you know, do that. I heard Carl Banks that he wanted Matt Patricia. That is insane. Love you, Carl Banks, but I don't know where your head is on that one. All right, we know how that went with the Lions. All right, next, number 2, knows how to organize a roster. All right, if there was one thing that Brian Daboll really struggled in, and it sucks because you guys know I like Brian Daboll, is organizing a roster management. It is not good. I know part of it has to do with Joe Shane providing the pieces, but as far as managing the pieces, it is up to Brian Daboll, and it was just bad. We always have a lot of position groups that are shorthanded. I feel like sometimes we allocate a lot of assets to one position and just completely neglect another. And as far as the IRs, as far as injuries go, like kind of managing the roster, Brian Daboll has never been good at that. You see the kicker situation ever since Brian Daboll has been here, the kicker situation has always been an issue, and that is a prime example of what I'm talking about. So I would love to see a coach get in here and organize a roster very well. Attention to detail, number 3. If they are exploited or lack in something in a game, bad fumbles, drop passes, drop picks, holding calls, false starts, you name it, anything that can really turn the tide of a game and make you lose a game, that could become a trend. Even not being able to stop the run, just having something that you lack, a very bad weakness that you have, or something not going right, it needs to be fixed. Attention to detail when going into practices. A lot of people have said that Brian Daboll's practices were very nonchalant, very laid back, not very aggressive, right, in their approach to practices. It was very cool, calm, and collected, having fun out there. That was a lot of Brian Daboll's practices. So when it comes to this new head coach, attention to detail. If there's a problem with drop passes, I want to see those freaking wide receivers out there with no gloves on, going out there and forcing them to catch passes with no gloves, things like that. I don't want it to be a theme in every game. Well, interesting stat here. The Giants lead the league in drop passes. The Giants lead the league in false starts. Oh, the Giants, constantly have illegal man downfield. I don't want to see any of that throughout an entire season like we've seen the past couple of years, right? Be the one who outcoaches the other guy. How many times have we been on the other side of this where we're like, damn, Ben Johnson just outcoached us. Damn, Sean Payton just outcoached us. Damn, Nick Sirianni just outcoached us. So many times that's happened with the Giants where we were just absolutely outcoached, where we could be playing fine out there, but a lack of clock management, a lack of situational awareness loses us the game. So being a guy who outcoaches the other guy. I want to have a coach where we say, damn, we went out there and we put it all out on the field and we did not give the ball back to the other team at the end of the game like Dan Campbell will. Dan Campbell was great with fourth quarter, fourth downs and going for it, making sure you keep the ball in your hands, being aggressive, knowing when to be aggressive and knowing when to play conservative and just chew out clock and stuff like that. So be a guy who outcoaches the other guy. A big factor in a coach's success is knowing how to close out a game and find ways to win. Beating teams with being excellent in situational periods of the game. Knowing when to go for it on fourth, kick a field goal, chew clock, etc. All right. Number 5. Naturally command respect and accountability from both sides of the ball. This is something that is so overlooked. Okay? You can talk about the X's and O's. You can talk about your scheme. You can talk about the roster that you have. But does your team fight and go to war for your coach? Now, you do need a mixture of those things. You could argue that a lot of guys really fought for Joe Judge, right? You could argue that a lot of guys really fought for Brian Daboll, right? It's a mixed bag when it comes to the Giants and what you hear from the locker room with Brian Daboll. A lot of the guys loved him. A lot of the guys had issues with him, Xavier McKinney being one of them. But a lot of guys really loved Brian Daboll. I want a natural leader of men. You look at guys like Sean McVay. You look at guys like Dan Campbell, right? Guys that you can relate with and not be your friend necessarily, but kind of have the qualities that Brian Daboll had a bit, where it's like it's almost like a father, a cool dad, a cool uncle, but still you respect him. You want to go out there and you do not want to mess up for that guy. You want to go out there, you want to make that coach look good, you want to make the team look good, and you want to fight, run through a wall for that guy, you know? It goes a long way, naturally commanding respect, where you're not making these guys fear you, right? You're not being Brian Flores and you're like bullying Tua Tagovailoa to try to make him develop. That's not how you command respect. Commanding doesn't necessarily mean you need to implement discipline and be all hard-nosed. Commanding respect is just walking into a room, showing your leadership qualities without you really having to say much, and just being a natural leader, and people naturally will follow you. You know? Those are the qualities I'm looking for. Accountability from both sides of the ball. You could be an offensive-minded head coach. I want those defensive players playing for that coach. You could be a defensive head coach, and I want your offensive players playing out of their mind and playing the best for their defensive head coach. Doesn't matter. Both sides of the ball. I want the players and coaches, and even the coaches, position coaches, you know, offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, linebackers coach, you know, quarterbacks coach, whatever. I want those guys giving their all for their head coach because he is the leader of the team. Wins and losses end up on his shoulders. Okay? I want the players and coaches giving everything they got for him, not because they have to, and it's their job, and that's what they get paid to do, but because they want to. They want to go out there and give it their all for their coach. That's a big, big factor. And then, can they get the most out of players? I forgot the they there. There we go. Can they get the most out of players? Oh, never mind. I didn't mess up there. He can get the most out of players no matter their position, right? Being able to take a roster that is given, because, listen, if Joe Shane's going to be our GM, that causes us to worry about the talent that's going to be brought onto the roster and the depth, right? Get the most out of your players no matter their position. Being able to take a roster that is given and develop them to be winners, starter or backups. Just win. That is very key. Just win, right? You look at Dan Campbell. I always listen. Dan Campbell is a coach you want to aspire to, right? Dan Campbell is a prime example of what you want to see in a head coach, right? He came into the league, struggled a little bit, but you could see it. If you watch Hard Knocks, you could see it. They are here crying for that guy. He's crying for them. You see how that works? The equal amount of respect given is the equal amount of respect earned. You know, he goes out there and he cries with his freaking team, because they want to win. And you got a team like the Lions, who, if you saw on that Monday night game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a high-powered offense getting shut down by a bunch of practice squad players. Why? They're going out there and playing for their coach. Of course, scheme has a part of it. Give a big shout out to former Giants legend Kelvin Shepard, the defensive coordinator over there, who was formerly their linebackers coach. He got promoted to defensive coordinator. He's doing a great job over there. You know, and they're going out and playing for him too. And the respect goes up the ladder. The respect goes up the ladder, where those players really respect Dan Campbell and Kelvin Shepard, and Kelvin Shepard really respects Dan Campbell. You can see the relationship that they have. That's what I want to see. Go out there and look at Kyle Shanahan as well, right? Kyle Shanahan over there has a depleted team. Now, they got absolutely worked against the Rams last week, but they're still competitive. They're still in the race for the NFC West, because Kyle Shanahan knows how to develop their players no matter what he's given. No matter who is on the roster, who are the projected starters, who the GM brings in, he is going to operate the same way. We are going to be productive. We are going to score points. We're going to win games. So that's, and the 49ers have been a very hurt team for a long time. The 49ers have always been a hurt team. So that's the qualities I'm looking for, everybody. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. That was a long time. That took, whoa, where did I go? Hey. But yeah, that's That's what I'm looking for in a head coach. If you guys have any other qualities out there, let me know. If you guys have any other qualities that you want to see from a head coach, let me know. For right now, we're going to talk about the sponsor of the stream, baby. Sleeper is the sponsor of the stream and for the season. Appreciate Sleeper for taking care of us, as the Giants have not been taking care of us, but we've got Sleeper to rely on. Make sure you guys use the promo code 27squad to get a 100% match up to $100 on your deposit on Sleeper. Check them out, man. Not only for more or less pick slips, but you can use them for news. Their news is like absolute instant. And of course, they have one of the best fantasy football UIs, best fantasy football interfaces that you're going to find out there. They are excellent when it comes to fantasy football, and I use them every single year. So make sure you check out Sleeper. Big shout out to them. I would want Pierce as defensive coordinator. I would have to see. I would have to see what Pierce really brings to the table as a defensive coordinator. I don't even know what his scheme is to let him just be a defensive coordinator. So I would have to see about that, because it sucks with Pierce. It really is unfortunate with Pierce because he was really overhired. He came in as an interim head coach. They had a couple of good games as an interim head coach. He even beat the Giants as an interim head coach, So that really boosted his stock to make him be hired as a head coach for the Raiders, and it did not go well because he bit off a little bit more than he can chew. And he didn't even get to have a coordinator job. He went straight from linebackers coach instantly to head coach. And we never really got to get a good sample size of what he could be as a coordinator, because then he's skipping steps. I don't even know if he's in the NFL right now, So that's unfortunate. Let me see if he is. I don't know if he is. By the way, guys, I've been playing that game Arc Raiders like I'm addicted like crack, bro. I don't know if you guys are gamers out there or if you guys even play Arc Raiders. That game is so good. Speaking of Raiders, that game is so good. Been having a blast on it. I was wondering if you guys would be interested in just chilling back and having a gaming stream with me sometime this week. I think I could record some funny moments on there on live stream. But let me see Antonio Pierce. Let's see, where is he at right now? Yeah, he's not in the NFL right now, Antonio Pierce. But, he's still young as far as a coach goes. Taking a year off is not something that we haven't seen before. So, I'm sure he can get an opportunity somewhere. Just I don't know if another head coaching job is what Antonio Pierce is going to get, or a coordinator job. I don't know. It's possible, Giovanni. It's possible. What's up, Danny? What's going on, brother? How do you feel about the Rams OC? He's definitely a candidate. That's Mike LaFleur. And he's doing a great job. Matt Stafford. Let me look at Matt Stafford's stats right now. Matt Stafford is having a great season. Not contract. Why does it always type in stuff automatically? Let's see. Man, he's at 2,400 yards already. 2,427 yards, 25 touchdowns already, and two interceptions. Oh my gosh. He's an MVP candidate right now. He's got to be. And they're winning games? Oh my god, I didn't even know it was that. I didn't know it was like that. Who would you want as defensive coordinator? Let's see. Defensive coordinator. That one's very hard because you could really pick from anywhere. You could pick a random. You could hire from within. You could pick a random defensive line coach from another team. You could pick a random secondaries coach from another team. I don't know. You know who I'll be interested in though? I don't know, because we fired him, right? I'm sorry if you guys hear my dog in the background. Who became why am I blanking on his name? Who was that? Guys, who was the guy Oh, why am I blanking on his name? I was just thinking about it. Who was the guy we fired last year, guys? The guy we scapegoated last year, our secondaries coach. Who was the guy we... did he become the Titans? Let me see. Giants secondary coach in 2023. Jerome Henderson. Why? We were just talking about him last week. Jerome Henderson. I would be interested in bringing him back. Maybe trying him out for a coordinator job, but I don't know if he will want to come back because we scapegoated him, right? In 2024. So what's he up to right now? About to send that "you up" text to him, you know. He was one of the most respected secondary coaches in the NFL. One of the respected, just like how Andre Patterson is our D-line coach right now. So, you know, Andre Patterson is a guy that the Giants would consider right now. Who is currently... Oh, he's the DB coach for the Colts right now. Interesting. DB coach for the Colts right now. Damn, Jaden. Bro, you know what's crazy, though? I like Brian Daboll, bro. I had visions of us working out with Brian Daboll, bro. You're telling me 4 seasons in, after winning Coach of the Year, he gets fired? I'm so upset, bro. I really wanted it to work out. Like I said, guys, I understand him getting fired. I understand it completely. I just didn't want it to happen. That's all. It's Tomlin or Rams OC. That's it. Well, but what do you guys think about Clint Kubiak, though? What do you guys think about Clint Kubiak? I like Clint Kubiak. He's a first-year coordinator, but that doesn't matter to me. He's a Kubiak, right? Son of Gary Kubiak. Shout out to Gary Kubiak, though. I know he was having health issues last time he was coaching. I think with the Broncos. He's still kicking? Yeah. He's still alive and well. Shout out Gary Kubiak. Seahawks OC. Yeah, the Seahawks OC, Clint Kubiak. You know, I wouldn't mind having Kubiak. Yeah. I mean, he is the top 4. What was I saw the stat. The top 4 scoring offenses in the first half of games, 3 of them. Wait, there are 3 games. I'm trying to think about how to say this stat. The top scorers in the first half are 3 of them are the Seahawks in this year. The top scorers in the first half this season, 3 of them are the Seahawks. And they're all over 30 points. 31 points. No, I think it's 30. It's 31, 31, and 38, I believe. That's nuts. I would love to see that. And look what he's doing with freaking Sam Darnold, bro. I know KOC unlocked Sam Darnold, but Sam Darnold's even better with the Seahawks. This dude's even better. And Jackson Smith and Jigba is playing on another level, right? They're finding ways to get it done. Bring in Spags. Spags is an interesting option as well. Spags is also an interesting option as well. I would not mind Spags. But, like I said, when we talked about Lane Kiffin, not with the college situation, but with Lane Kiffin, you know, you come into the NFL as a head coach, and it doesn't work out. I believe Spagnuolo was the coach of the Rams. Want to say head coach with the Rams. It did not end up well, and that was a while ago. I believe he was also a interim head coach with the Eagles as well. I know he was an interim head coach with us in 2017, but I think he was also an interim with the Colts too. Was he not? I mean, with the Colts, Eagles. Let me see here. Man, his resume is insane. Holy crap. This guy's resume is nuts. He's with the Rams for 3 seasons, right? After being a coordinator with us. And he's going to go down as one of the best coordinators of all time. Like, one of the best defensive coordinators of all time, that's for sure. But I don't know if he's a good, like, head coach. Oh wow, he's never been a head coach before. I mean, never been an interim head coach before. Besides with the Giants in 2017, I thought, man, I don't know why I thought he was an interim with the Eagles, but he was a linebackers and defensive coordinator, defensive backs coach in with the Eagles for a while. Then came to the Giants, won a Super Bowl with us in his first year. Came to the Giants again. Ironically enough, you know, every time he's been a coordinator with the Giants, I mean, we make a playoff run at some point, right? Spagnuolo, I like Spags. He's aggressive in his approach. My thing is he's a very 4-3 minded guy, and I don't want that. My dad wants him. My dad wants Steve Spagnuolo. My dad loves 4-3 defenses, so you know how it is. But I do not. I think 4-3 defense is extremely outdated. I don't like it. Let me see what the Chiefs are running right now. Are they still in a 4-3? They're still in a 4-3. The Chiefs still run a 4-3. They're one of the very few teams that run 4-3 defenses and are still successful in the NFL. Interesting. If you bring back Spags, you bring back Jerry Reese. I know. Let's see. Saints. Oh, the Saints OC, Nussmeier. What's his name? Gary Nussmeier? Because the son of... I think I'm completely... Let me see. Saints, OC. It's Garrett Nussmeier's dad. Doug. Okay, I was way off. Doug Nussmeier. 4-3 is just base defense. No, it's really not. It's really not. It's a big difference. And I know base defense... Listen, the philosophy... Because you could run a 4... You could run a four down lineman like nickel, right? Like 4-2-5 nickel. But your personnel is different. Brian Burns does not fit a 4-3 defense. You cannot run 4-3 defense with Brian Burns. It doesn't matter if you're running nickel, sub package, it doesn't matter. Brian Burns does not belong in a 4-3. You know, Kayvon could play in a 4-3, but Abdul Carter, I don't think could play in a 4-3, and Brian Burns cannot play. The problem is with 4-3 defenses is there's a attention to detail when it comes to, or there's a bigger attention to linebackers where Giants have not had good linebackers in a long time. You're going to have more linebackers on the field usually, you know, you're making the linebackers play a lot more, and you don't have a good fluid rotation of edge rushers, right? When you have a 4-3 defense, you have like tanks as your defensive ends, and these guys aren't fluid. They can't move around. They can't disguise their looks, right? Brian Burns sometimes drops back in coverage and plays a linebacker role. That's something that could really mess up a quarterback. You know, him dropping back in coverage, now there's an extra defender, and then boom, you're getting blitzed by a safety on the other side. 4-3 defenses are so simple. Now, can they work? Steve Spagnuolo's been making it work, but they're so simple. I like modern day 3-4 defenses because they're so fluid. You can have your defensive tackles. Your defensive tackles are usually a little bit more athletic, right? You have a nose tackle, a dedicated nose, right? One dedicated nose, that's Dexter Lawrence. By the way, Dexter Lawrence shouldn't be in a 4-3 either. You don't really use nose tackles in a 4-3. You have 2 3 techs. Maybe you got a 3 tech in a 2-eye, but it's like you're just not going to use nose as much. So having a clear nose for the 4-3, for the 3-4, and having 2 like athletic defensive tackles like we had with like Darius Alexander, Roy Robertson Harris. Good rotation there. And then a good fluid rotation of edge defenders that can drop back in coverage, you know, play really far, stretch really far out in a wide 9 and be fast off the line of scrimmage like Brian Burns, Kayvon, and all that stuff. I just think it works better. The Giants have a personnel for the 3-4, not a 4-3, and you would have to start all over again. You remember the Giants ran 4-3 defense up until the 2017 season when they got James Betcher in here, and James Betcher changed it to a 3-4 defense. And no, that was 2018 actually. I'm sorry guys. 2017 we were still running 4-3, right? We still had Perry Fuel, I believe, right? Perry Fuel was up until 2016. Perry. No, I'm bugging. That's Steve Spagnuolo. That was Steve Spagnuolo. I'm bugging out. We fired Perry Fuel in 2014. Steve Spagnuolo came in. He's 4-3. He came in from 2015, 2016, and 2017. And then he left to go be because we had a regime change. And then Pat Shurmur came in here in 2018, right? Pat Shurmur came in 2018 and hired freaking James Bettcher, right, as our defensive coordinator. And Bettcher came from a 3-4 system. He implemented it with the Giants, causing the Giants to have to trade guys like Jason Pierre-Paul and guys like that because they didn't necessarily fit, even though he just ended up back into a 3-4 defense in with the Bucks. But we got rid of guys like Damon Snacks Harrison and stuff like that because they're more. Actually, that would have made more sense with Damon Harrison. But either way, that was a bad transitional period. The roster was not built for a 3-4 defense, and we were picking up scraps, hiring guys off the street that fit the scheme. And you guys remember 2018, 2019, 2020, those defenses were ass. They were terrible. They were not good because they went in a bad transition period. KB, I'm just getting tired of us getting smoked by the run game. Back in the day, nobody ran on us. Yeah, but you could have a really good 3-4 team and be good against the run. That's not an issue. 4-3, 3-4 doesn't matter. You could still be a terrible run defensive team in a 4-3. You could still be a terrible one. What do you guys think about Mike McCarthy? Do you like it? Yeah, where's Gabriel? I don't know if you have me on Twitter or something like that. Where is that at? People are talking about that like it's like Mike McCarthy is like not a done deal, but like he's like the front runner already. Last time I checked, like you can't even make moves like this until after the season is over, right? After the 17 games are done. Let me type it in. Mike McCarthy, Giants. Where's that rumor coming from? He's the betting favorite, but you know what? Vegas don't know shit. Man, I'm seeing a lot of people really wanting Mike McCarthy. I mean, that guy has like zero personality at all. He's a coordinator at heart. I mean, that's what he is. Yeah, the odds are highest for Mike McCarthy. I think it's just because that this is a really good landing spot. He's an offensive-minded head coach. Has a lot of good offensive pieces, and on top of that, he's probably the most decorated coach out here as far as head coach experience. Probably the most decorated one. So we got Mike McCarthy, Steve Spagnuolo, Cliff Kingsbury. No, thank you. Jesse Minter, the defensive coordinator for the Chargers. I don't know. Then we have Antonio Pierce, Robert Saleh, hell no. John Gruden, hell no. Bill Belichick, hell no. Jason Garrett's on the odds? Get out of here. Vance Joseph, nope. Joe Brady, he ain't coming here. Brian Flores, he has a lawsuit against us. Lane Kiffin, Todd Monken, Jeff Hafley, which is the DC for the Packers. Mike Kafka, he ain't coming here. He ain't staying here. Lou Anarumo. I am tired of Lou Anarumo. This old dude, Lou Anarumo, had the worst defense in the NFL for years. With his unit was always a liability with the Bengals. Now he's with the Colts now, and he's the defensive coordinator for the Colts, and they've been all right on defense. I don't care. That's a big blemish. And how many times is Lou Anarumo gonna freaking apply for this job? And he's not, and he never gets it. I do not want Lou Anarumo as our next head coach. That is the most boring option out there. And the Giants like him for whatever reason. The Giants like him. He was our defensive backs coach in 2018. That's why he has a link to the Giants. He was our DB coach in 2018 for 1 year. Then he went to Cincinnati, became the defensive coordinator in Cincinnati for 5 years. When have you ever heard about the Bengals defense being anything good? Ever. Bengals defense never been good, especially not with him. And then now he's with the Colts, and they're a good team. Josh Grizzard from Tampa. That's the OC over there. I think they're gonna keep on. They're gonna try to hold on to their OC because they keep losing offensive coordinators. They keep losing offensive coordinators over there. I think they're gonna try to hold on to him, but he hasn't been a name that's been popped up. So, and our secondary was straight ass. Thank you. I remember that secondary in 2018. I remember. Who do we have back there? Hold on. Was that the Antoine Bethea era? With Antonio Hamilton, Antoine Bethea. Oh my God. Hold on. 2018 New York Giants. Hold on a second. Now, this is not Lou Anarumo's fault to have that terrible team, that terrible roster. It's not his fault. But still. Let's go back to the archives on our lads. Let's go back to let's do September 1st, 2018. I'll share screen real quick. Let's look together, guys. Share this tab instead. Oh my God, look at this 2018 team, guys. This is when things really went downhill, bro. I know this is another regime change from Ben McAdoo. That's another thing. Ben McAdoo was such a good offensive-minded head coach, such a good offensive-minded coach. Ben McAdoo, if he stayed a coordinator here, would have been fantastic. He really unlocked Eli Manning in his old age. 2015 was one of Eli Manning's best years. And Ben McAdoo knew how to be an offensive coordinator, but he was just a terrible head coach. He wasn't a leader. Ben McAdoo was not a leader of men. Janoris, yeah, I know. We had Janoris. I remember that. We had Janoris, but look at the rest of our defense. More specifically, our DBs. You guys can see the screen, right? No, you guys can't see the screen. Let's look at here. Landon Collins. Yo, Curtis Riley, bro. Oh, my God. Curtis Riley. Big number 35. Big number 35, Curtis Riley. Yeah, 35, bro. I still remember. Yo, Darian Thompson. Yo, I loved Darian Thompson. You know why? Darian Thompson was a Boise State Bronco. I love my Boise State Broncos, and I predicted that 2016 draft so perfectly. Now, I didn't have us taking Eli Apple that draft. I wanted somebody else. Who did I want in that draft? I wanted Leonard, what's his name? Leonard Floyd. Was Leonard Floyd in that draft? 2018 draft? Who? No, it was another corner. And I want another corner. Anyway, I didn't get Eli Apple right that draft. But Sterling Shepard, I said that's the Victor Cruz replacement. The Giants drafted him. Later on in that night, I said I want Darian Thompson because he's a Boise State Bronco and the Giants need a safety. They drafted Darian Thompson. I felt so vindicated back then. I thought I knew this team. That was back in 2016. But shout out Darian Thompson, number 27. 27 squad. But he was not good at all. B.W. Webb. Oh, my God. B.W. Webb. Yo, he was a fan favorite just because B.W. Webb. Oh, no, I'm not talking about 2018, Mike. I'm talking about 2016. 2016 is when we drafted Darian Thompson. 2016. Darian Thompson wasn't a rookie here. 2016. Man. B.W. Webb was a fan favorite because he's a local guy. There were some people that knew B.W. Webb, so he knew the fan base, but he was so ass. Shout out my boy Andrew Adams at UDFA, bro. I like the Andrew Adams. Dante Dion, bro. Boise State. Oh, I was so happy when the Giants got him. Landon Collins. Oh, my God. Just a lot of ass. Just a lot of Grant Haley. A lot of ass, man. Chris Lewis. Oh, my God. Why did we think he was good? Why did we think this guy was good? Oh, my God. Look how... Guys, we came a long way. I know our team is not good. I know the Giants are 2-7 right now, or 2-8 right now. Our record isn't much different from these guys, but look at this roster, guys. Look at this roster. Oh my God. This is what we had to watch every Sunday, man. This is what we had to look at, that depth. Josh Morrow, Robert Thomas. This is like at the tail end of his career. Josh Banks, the UDFA. RJ McIntosh. Kerry Wynn. Connor Barwin at the end of his career. Romeo Akwara. I like Romeo Akwara. I don't care. Kareem Martin was so bad. BJ Goodson. Alec Ogletree was terrible. Avery Moss. Yo, Jerry Reese. Jerry Reese always put up a masterclass. Jerry Reese always put up a masterclass of absolute ass, bro, in drafts, especially at the end of drafts. Jerry Reese always had the worst day 3 draft picks you've ever seen. Guys you've never heard of in your life. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Guys you never heard of in your life. I don't even want to. Oh God, I don't even want to reminisce, guys. I don't even want to reminisce. Oh, that is sad. That is sad. I don't like Mike McCarthy, but he had 3 12-5 years in a row. And yeah, and I know. And like, listen, Mike McCarthy. One thing you're gonna get out of Mike McCarthy is good schemes. Always. He's always been a decent play caller because he's always been a play caller wherever he's at. He called plays in Green Bay. He called plays in Dallas. You know, I think he relinquished play calling to Kellen Moore 1 year, if I'm not mistaken. I think he did that. But Mike McCarthy is usually a play caller. He's a decent head coach, right? He knows how to get the job done. He knows how to win games, situational. Like, he has the experience for that. My thing is, he's a Super Bowl winning head coach, sure, but like he crapped out immediately, man. I mean, like he's never really put up a fight in the playoffs. His teams don't really put up fights in playoffs. So, you know, I wouldn't mind Mike McCarthy. I just like, do you see the players running through a wall for Mike McCarthy? Like be real, guys. Do you see the players running through a wall for Mike McCarthy? I don't really see it. I don't really see it. I want a guy that is like, I want to run through a wall for him, you know? A fans coach, like a Dan Campbell, bro. Like a Dan Campbell, bro. I want a Dan Campbell. Ogletree actually had a solid 2018. He had 5 picks. Yeah, but those 5 picks were so overrated. So overrated. Those 5 picks were so overrated because he still missed. I remember watching him. And even though he had all those interceptions, is how many times he would miss tackles, bro, and just slip off of guys, bro. That guy could not tackle for his life. Had the worst pass defense you've ever seen. Just terrible. Not like Micah McFadden, though. We need to bring Micah McFadden back. The only thing I'm worried about is if the Giants fire Joe Shane, which I want them to. I don't know if they'll bring back Micah McFadden, but they have to bring back Micah McFadden, bro. Do not let this guy get the bag somewhere else to go play and be a freaking all-star linebacker, bro, because he can be that. Yo, don't let Micah McFadden go, man. Re-sign Micah. The real Micah. The real Micah. Don't let him go. Never let go. But, you know, I'm going to make a video soon. Probably tomorrow. I'm going to make a video. I'm off tomorrow. So I'm going to make a video on, like, deep diving who I would want at coach or my top candidates. And I'll also be talking about the rumors about what we're hearing, like guys that are talked about as a potential pick for the Giants. So I'll try to do that. I'll try to make, like, nice little cards, you know, doing their, like, their best resumes or whatever. Like me, bro, I have players running through walls for me. Yeah, bro, listen, you gotta earn respect for your players because even if they're not necessarily good players, they'll play their asses off for you, man. They'll go out there and give it their all, and sometimes that's all you need. Sometimes it's all you need. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna wrap this up now. Thank you guys for joining in. We'll be live on our NFC East Roundtable. Link is in the description. Check out the NFC East Roundtable. We'll be live there talking about everything that's been going on with the Giants and then the game, of course, and then leading up to the Green Bay Packers game, which is going to be awesome. But thank you guys for watching. We will see you guys very, very soon. Also, Young Guns tonight as well. So, see you guys later.